Good morning, Hammers fans, and welcome to Claret and Booze. I'm Nick, and this is the Daily Show. Now, I hope you're all well and you're not struggling too much with travel because it's a bloody nightmare out there at the moment. Today, I'm going to be running through three exciting striker transfer targets that they're really gaining traction with all the ITKs and in the mainstream media and stuff like that. So I'm going to give you my opinion on each of them. Now, bit of a layout change. On the left, you can see some information relating to the transfer window, all relative to West Ham. Days left till the window slams shut. The remaining net budget, all based, of course, on that reported 150 million that Moyes has to spend, plus any money made from player sales. I mean, who knows what we've actually got to spend. On the right, you can see our new signing, Aguirre, and just below him is a carousel of some of the players that we're still heavily linked with and their reported values as well. So, a little quirky feature, humour me, fantasy football time. So, based on that £150 million budget, minus the money that we've already spent, and the values of the players that we're linked with, as detailed on the right, have a go at spending that budget and let me know in the comments what your ideal business would be based on the available funds with the players on the screen. I mean, look, you can add your own outside links if you wish. That's fine. I realise I haven't included every player, but we've got to be linked with a player, though. You can't do your own scouting. Keep in mind also that we can sell a few players. I mean, rumour has it that Diop is on the verge of moving, as are Benny and Vlasic, if we can get a buyer, and potentially Souček as well, if somebody can make that sort of 40 million valuation for the player. So, look, let's say 15 million for Diop, 15 million for Benny, and probably the same or less for Vlasic, plus 40 mil for Thomas Souček. Right, okay, well, before we get on with the show, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and click that bell notification icon. And also, if you enjoy the show, please drop us a like on the video. It genuinely helps us because, YouTube will see people are watching and interacting, and then their algorithm starts sharing the video to more people. So every like and comment, it really, really helps us. Right, well, that's a boring bit done. Now, onto our first player link, onto the fun bit. Armando Bruno. Now, look, I'm not going to go into granular detail about this player because, we know him, we watched him last season, but sort of a bit of a high-level overview. He's a 20-year-old full Albanian international, born in Slough, and is a product of the Chelsea Academy. He enjoyed a decent season on loan in the 2021 season as an 18-year-old with Vitesse in Holland, where he notched up 10 goals and 2 assists in 30 games, which is a superb return for a kid. And then, as we know, only too well, because he played bloody well against us, both times actually, he went to Southampton last season. He played 32 games. This is on paper. He played 32 games and he scored 6 goals. Now, look, don't be fooled by the 32 game stat. He rarely played a full game. He was often used as a sub. He started in 50% of his matches in the starting 11. And he averaged around 45 minutes per game across all of his 32 appearances. So in terms of minutes, he played, 16 games and he scored 6 goals. So that's not bad, is it? Now, look, it is true that he started on fire and he did peter out in part 2 of the season, but look, West Ham fans, let's face it, had he finished the season the way that he started it, we wouldn't have a hope in hell's chance of getting a player with his talent. He's 20 years old, a full international, 2 full years playing senior football, and he's got Premier League experience. We know what he is. He's a hard-working player. He's big, he's strong, he's quick, he's tricky as well, and he's really aggressive. He's really aggressive. Some of the Chelsea fans have likened him to sort of Diego Costa. I think he's got a touch of the Arnie's about him, hopefully without the attitude. He's a wonderful prospect. Now, what we need to be careful of is, yes, he might not be the finished article yet. He might not be. But teams like West Ham, we get one chance to sign a player with a pedigree like this. And if he's available, I've got no doubt that Moyes is going to go out and grab him. And the rumour is, if you believe it, the primary centre-back target was Aguirre this year. Well, it must be. 9 days after the window, we signed him. We've got him. And Moyes went out and he got his man. He got his primary centre-back target. Well, Broja is David Moyes' primary striker target. He wants him. And with the fee reported to be in a region of 25 to 30 million, it's an absolute no-brainer. I'd be buzzing if we signed him. I mean, he's superb. Now, the only potential stumbling block is the buyback clauses that Chelsea do like to include in these deals for their young players. Sullivan won't have any of that at all. So I'm hoping that with the regime change at Chelsea that they can come to some sort of agreement that suits both parties. Because look, let's face it, there's not many, if any, top half Premier League teams, certainly none that finished in the European positions, that can offer Broja or any top striker for that matter a guaranteed starting position like we can. And that's going to be an attractive proposition to, well, the right type of player, the type of player that wants to play football. So for me, look, it's exciting times. It's really looking like we're going to get our striker at last. So let me know in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on Broja. Next, we have this man, Youssef Niasse. Another player that we've heard an awful lot about over the past few years. You know, Moyes has tried on 2 occasions before to get him, and both times we've been knocked back. But look, we can't take that the wrong way. You know, at that time, Niasse, he was happy, he was fit, he was firing, playing Champions League football. And as we all know, Sevilla is a beautiful Spanish city. So I can certainly understand why a player with no affiliation to English football, and certainly West Ham, may not want to leave that situation at the time. And look, remember, this was a player we were looking at playing, I think it was rumoured to be 35 to 40 million for. Moyes was going all in. But as it's panned out, you know, Niasse's had a bit of a troubled season last year. With injuries, he's had a few injuries, and he's fallen out of favour at Sevilla to the point where, if reports are to be believed, Sevilla have actually approached West Ham and have offered us a chance to sign the player for 25 million. Now, this may throw a spanner in Moyes' plans, because although Broja is currently target number 1, Moyes' mind's made up. He also clearly rates Niasse as well, and he's still only 26, and he's not turned into a bad player overnight. So, not worried, because this is all good. It's a good problem to have, but I do worry that I'm not going to say Moyes divers, but we don't need Moyes to have problems like this. I want him to be focused on who he's going to go and get. But look, that said, I'm sure we're going to be okay. You know, we've been quite decisive so far, so we shall see what happens. I mean, look, going back to Niasse, I was impressed with him when we played Sevilla. A lot of West Ham fans weren't, but I thought he got the shit kicked out of him all game. You know, you had Zuma going in on him, you had Rice, and then Dawson just kept on. He goosed him once, didn't he? And he did have a bit of a tantrum at one point, but he never went missing. He kept on coming back. So what I'm saying is he is a competitive, hard-working player. He's a fantastic striker. He's a team player. So he's proved he can take the rough and tumble in that game. And with all due respect, what an audition, you know, for West Ham, because I think we'll all agree, Niasse will have seen West Ham, that stadium, the fans and everything else, and the team at our very best. You know, we was at 110% that night, weren't we? From the fans to the team, it was unbelievable. I mean, don't forget as well that night, you know, he created a few chances to score. I mean, none more so than that effort that forced that absolute world-class save from Areola. And these are not easy chances, you know. They're snap chances, they're half chances to get a shot away. He's good. He's a very good player, you know. And also in the air, he made Zuma and Dawson look a bit silly a few times. So I think he's a definite threat. And another thing to consider, which I know we all know anyway now, is that we've just signed his international teammate and friend in Aguerd. They are friends as well. They both came through the same Moroccan football academy together. So there is that, because Moyes, as we know, he does, as we've seen in recent years, he's got a bit of form for double acts. I mean, first Souček, swiftly followed by Soufal. You know, I'm just saying, this could have been Moyes' plan. It might have been why he signed Aguerd. Don't know. So what do you all think anyway? Would you be happy with Niasse? Let me know in the comments. Right, okay, on to the final player review for today. And this is another very, very familiar name that we're always linked with. So for now, although, you know, rumours are rife, you know, they're really strong in terms of linking him to West Ham, I'll take it with a pinch of salt. But Moyes must be looking at Andrea Belotti in this window. He's available on a free at the end of the month. He's only 28, in his prime, and I think we all know this player. He's an absolute workhorse of a player. He's a bulldog. The only question mark is that he's got form for injuries. He had a few last year. But aside from that, he had a good season in terms of goals to games ratio. He scored 8 goals in 22 games. grabbed an assist. The season before that, he notched up 13 goals and 7 assists in 35 league appearances. And that is for, look, let's be honest, that's for an average Italian team. They're not a top team, are they? So he's on a decent run of form. I really like Belotti. I always have. I'm not entirely sure if he fits in the system. I don't know whether he would or whether he wouldn't. But look, he's proved he's loyal. He could have gone several times before from Torino, you know, especially when he had a couple of great seasons when his stock was really, really high, but he didn't. He stayed at Torino. He stayed loyal. He's also a leader. He's a hard working player, and like I say, he does score goals. So for me, I think he'd be an amazing signing as well. I mean, in real terms, I don't know who is to come into the team now. Who's the better player that would probably suit the team more now? I don't know. I mean, look, I'm greedy. I would take Belotti and possibly Broja as well, who can play as an inside forward, as we all know. You know, he can play from the left and the right. I mean, I've kind of been delving into. I don't like to do it, but I've been getting excited the last week or so. So I've been looking at loads of YouTube show reels, and there's a couple of Broja, and a lot of his play is running from deep, wide areas as well. So he can play that inside forward role, right or left. And that might be one of the reasons why Moyes likes him as well. Loves a versatile player, doesn't he? Maybe he can play left back. I don't know. So what do you reckon anyway? Back to Belotti. Do you like him? Would you be happy if we signed Belotti? But look, that's it from me today. Very, very quick show. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm assuming, look, if you're still watching, you must have enjoyed it. So please drop a like on the video. And that's it. You know, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm done. Come on, you irons.